What's good, my man of society? It is your host with the most, Shadow Loke, back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Is absolutely free. That is how you help my channel get into the algorithm. Highly appreciate if you go ahead and do that. Now, what I wanted to get into was actually a question I was asked by Alex Jones' mom. Shout out to him. He asked, what are my thoughts on the Michael Jackson situation, right? Do I believe the charges against him, right? Do I believe that he was a pedophile? I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there have seen the documentary, right? Leaving Maryland or whatever, which is not even a documentary, right? It's just a one-sided story. Because I don't believe it was actually documenting, the situation. I believe it was more of them trying to convince you that he's guilty, right? Which should, that documentary should be, grabbed with a grain of salt, right? Because it's only a one-sided story, right? You're not really hearing Michael's side of things, right? Or his defense, for that matter. But I'm going to go based on, what do I think, right? My opinions on the matter, right? And I honestly believe he was guilty, right? But here's the reason why I believe he was guilty. I believe he was guilty because there's a lot of red flags, right? Even though the individual stories have changed, right? First they said that he molested them. Then they took the stand and said that it's not true. Then they come out later on and saying that it is true, right? So their credibility is already down the drain, right? That's what happens when you lie, right? That people don't know when you're actually telling the truth, right? That's why it's important when you're under oath to be telling the truth, right? So you don't know if these guys, are actually full of shit or if they're actually victims, right? But I'm just going based off of the evidence that we do have, right? That we do know of, right? That, have been said and been confirmed, right? So the evidence that has been confirmed is that Michael Jackson, was talking to them when they were underage. There's phone records. He spent a lot of time on the phone with underage people, right? And you can say that, okay, he was just their friend and, they went over to his theme park and stuff like that. But when a grown adult, a grown-ass man is spending so much time with children and only hanging around with children, right? With young males, right? Well, females too, but more young males than anything, right? Hanging around with a lot of young males. Not only hanging around with a lot of young males, but on the phone, he spent a lot of time talking to young males, right? Not even like other celebrity young boys, right? But just regular kids, right? Regular boys. But the fact that they were sleeping in the same bed with the individual, bro. A grown-ass man, with so much money, big-ass mansion, so many different rooms, but yet they're gonna sleep in the same bed with him. It's fucking strange, though, And you could just say, oh, he was a nice person and just looking out, but just the fact that he's in the same bed with these individuals is fucking weird. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck who you are or what excuse you have. You know what I mean? When you have so many rooms in a big ass house, why the fuck is he in the same bed with you? Not only is that weird, but this is also confirmed, right? He had devices set up that alerted him in his room when somebody was going up to his bedroom, right? Like when somebody was getting close to his bedroom, he had an alarm set that it will go off. Why the fuck would he have an alarm bell set off when somebody's getting close to his bedroom? You know what I mean? I mean, he's hanging around with 17-year-old boys and 16-year-old boys, 14-year-old, 15, whatever. A lot of them, right? Having conversations with them. They're sleeping in the same bed with him, and he has an alarm system set to let him know if somebody's getting close to his bedroom. I mean, what more do we have to say, bro? What more do we have to say? Oh, he's a celebrity. You could have it said in case, someone's trying to rob him or something. Too much coincidence. I could understand that if it was said like that, right? If it was put, let's say he's a celebrity, an alarm system. All right. But now you add in the fact that there's a boy in bed with him. I understand if there was no boy and it was just the alarm set. All right, cool. But a boy there in the bed and the alarm system. Here's another thing. Michael Jackson was accused, the first time when he was accused of molesting a little boy, they had a settlement, right? Now you could say that makes him look guilty that they paid hush money, right? But people say that he paid hush money because he didn't want the bad publicity, and he just did it just to make it go away, right? Not to say that he was guilty, because the evidence that was against him in that case wasn't that strong, right? Cool. But let's just say that case was fake either way, right? Like, let's say it's a fake case, right? Let's say that people were lying, right? And it's the first settlement case. Cool. But after being accused of this, right, and you having to pay all this money in settlement money and hush money, right? You would have think that after that he would stop doing it, right? He wouldn't do it no more because people are accusing him and he had to pay all this fucking money. I'm pretty sure his financial team, his team that represents him would have told them, hey, I know, Michael, you're looking out for these kids and stuff like that, but you know what? Maybe you shouldn't be doing this. You get what I'm saying? But see, when people have this fetish, right, and this addiction towards these children, they can't help it, bro. They can't help but to give into their temptations, right? Their urges, right? And like I said, people like that, they think that they're above the law, especially when they have money and they have as fame as Michael Jackson. He feels like he can get away with anything. That he has that many people under his in the palm of his hand, bro, because of who he is, right? And that's why he keeps doing it. That's why he kept doing it. He couldn't stop his urges, right? And he didn't give a fuck because he felt like he had that power. And the fact also that he was addicted to, all these fucking, drugs as it is, right? So that he already had issues. He had issues, bro. That's the reason he was indulging in all these fucking, drugs. So the guy had issues, and now he's having kids, sleeping with him. There's too many connections, bro. You know what I mean? There's too much smoke, not to say that there isn't fire, bro. There's too much smoke, not to say that there isn't no fire. Because that amount of smoke that we're talking about here is just too much to ignore. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like there is something that was there, right? But obviously, he was never convicted, right? So all people could do is speculate, right? If of what he was indulging, right? Or what actually was happening, right? Because like I said, now that he's dead, I mean, truly nobody knows, right? Truly nobody would know, right? And people can't say, oh, well, he got away with being a sicko. No, I wouldn't necessarily say that either, because apparently he had a lot of problems, that he needed a lot of drugs, right? So he was suffering, and maybe he was suffering because he knows what kind of individual he was. So I mean, it's not like he went out having the time of his life or on top of the world, right? Because obviously he was troubled, right? And that's why he overdosed. So someone that overdosed doesn't mean that they went out with a bang, right? Doesn't mean that they were happy, right? That's one thing people have to understand. I know people, see it from a different perspective when they talk about drugs and alcohol, right? They're like, oh man, this guy went out having the time of his life. But people indulge in drugs because they have a lot of problems and issues, bro. They're just trying to make their problems go away, right? So they don't go out happy like people think that they do, right? I know people think that people indulge in drugs, to feel good, right? But you don't feel good, right? You're just looking to silence the fucking screaming voices in your head, right? So, and they're indulging in drugs, that doesn't mean that they're happy, bro. It actually means the far opposite of that, right? So, if anything, he went out how he should have gone, in my personal opinion, right? So that's why I just think why he was guilty, right? But this is just my opinion, right? But that's how I see it, because I mean, all the fucking evidence points to him being guilty, bro. Plain and simple. But like I said, people will see it however they choose, right? Because they love his music and they just don't want to feel like, some people, his music has gotten through some tough times, or his music has been, they have played his music in some of the greatest memories of their life, right? So they, hearing that song just brings back a whole lot of good memories. I understand, right? So people justify that, right? In order not to feel so bad that they're actually, supporting or listening to someone who potentially was molesting kids. is their form of justification, right? But if you're looking to, turn the blind eye, that says, something about you as well, right? So, you're not this goody two shoes like you think you are, because you're making excuses, right? To be able to, satisfy yourself and your feelings and what how you see things, right? But it's a lie. Why would you want to lie to yourself, right? But that's just the reason why I don't, right? Like, that's just how I see it, right? To get it from a perspective, from my angle, right? But overall, what do you guys think? What's your opinion? Go ahead and leave it in the comments. Because his behavior is kind of like the same as P Diddy's, right? Like, just having a grown ass man and having an underage person sleeping in the same bedroom with them when they have so much money and a big ass house and so many rooms. It's strange, bro. You know what I mean? And strange behaviors lead to something. You know what I mean? They just do. It's never just like that. Like, oh, it never just stays just like that, right? But I'm just saying, I'm shutting up.